Hello and welcome to Unhindered Faith. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to stay consistent even when you really want to? You know what you should do, you have good intentions, you care deeply about growing in your faith, but staying consistent still feels very difficult. What if the real issue isn't your discipline? What if it's your environment? So most people, they think growth is only about willpower. And if I try harder, if I just stay more disciplined, if I push through, but willpower doesn't last forever. And when life gets busy, tired, or stressful, what's around you often shapes you more than what's inside of you. John Maxwell actually talks about this in his 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, the laws of environment, the law of environment. And growth thrives in the right environment, and it struggles in the wrong one. I mean, we could even think about plants. You know, if you try to grow a plant in the wrong environment or the wrong area of like I live in Nevada, so there's only certain kind of plants that could actually grow in Nevada. And it's because of the environment. It's not because of the willpower of the one who plants it and treats it and takes care of it, but the environment affects growth. And growth thrives in the right environment, and it struggles in the wrong one. Your environment either supports your growth or silently works against it. So I just want to talk a little bit about your environment today. Discipleship doesn't happen in isolation. You see, Jesus didn't disciple people from a distance. He invited them into an environment, walking together, eating together, and learning together. Environment shapes what you think about, what you prioritize, what you practice. And if your environment doesn't support your faith, staying consistent will always feel like a fight. I've been telling our church for a while now that the enemy wants to separate you from your community, which is your environment. The more that you feel like you need to pull away or come up with the excuses why you can't go to church or be involved, those are probably the time in your life that you need to press in more and not pull away. You see, Scripture reminds us in Proverbs 13:20, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise. Church doesn't get you to heaven, but it sure does help you get there. And who you walk with matters. What you surround yourself with matters. Your environment is either reinforcing your discipleship or it's resisting it. Here are a few signs. Maybe your environment may be working against you. Here it is. Here's a few signs. You're always distracted. You're always coming up with excuses. You're always distracted in your faith journey. Maybe you're isolated in your faith. You're trying to do this on your own. You're no longer consistent in a faith community, a local church, or fellow believers who are walking out their faith journey with you. You have no accountability. This is a huge one. I have a leadership group that we talk once a month on Zoom, and it's absolutely free. So if you want to join, you could go to unhinderedfaith.com and register. But we walk through this, and we were talking about accountability, how accountability helps us. When you actually say, this is what I'm working on, now you have a group of accountability that's going to hold you accountable. And so here's a sign of a environment that does not support your growth is there's no accountability in it. Maybe your schedule leaves no margin for God. Too busy. Or even if you have to schedule your time with God into your schedule. Your schedule leaves no margin for God. That doesn't mean you're failing. Let me say that again. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It just means something needs to be adjusted. There's one thing that we all have in common on this planet. Every single person that has ever lived on this planet is 24 hours. So the question is how are you managing your 24 hours? And if you are if your environment is causing some negative or hindrance in your growth, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It just means you just need to make some adjustments to your environment. So here are some practical applications. And the challenge that I have for you is this. Instead of asking, how can I try harder? Ask, what needs to change around me to support my growth? What needs to change around me to support my growth? That might mean changing what you listen to. What you pour in is naturally going to flow out. If you're always surrounded by things that are frustrating or stressful, guess what? Your reactions into that environment is going to be just that. Maybe creating margins in your schedule. One mentor and pastor in my life, he schedules 30-minute meetings, and then he schedules another 30 minutes after that on his calendar for himself, so that when he is meeting with somebody, he's giving 100% of who he is into every single person that he meets with. I love that. Create margins in your schedule so that you could take care of yourself and be 100% in what you have to tackle. Another one is getting connected to community. If you're not connected to a community, if you're looking for leadership growth, if you're not connected to a community that is going to encourage you to grow in your leadership, get plugged into a local area or maybe somebody that stands out to you. Start hanging out with that person. Start having conversations with that person. If it's your faith journey, get plugged into your church. Dive deeper into your church and get plugged into an environment that is going to support and cheerlead you on in your faith growth. It's placing reminders of truth in your daily life. I encourage people all the time, put scripture verses around you. Carry 3x5 cards with encouraging notes or quotes or, those are the things that are going to keep you motivated and keep that growth going. Growth becomes easier when your environment works with you, not against you. Discipleship isn't just about discipline. It's about design. When you design your environment wisely, faithfulness becomes more natural. If consistency has been hard, don't get discouraged, okay? You may not need more effort. You may need a better environment. So I hope this has encouraged you. Think about the environments that you're in. Is it sabotaging your growth or is it helping your growth? And if it's sabotaging your growth, make a few changes this week. If your growth feels stagnant, make a few changes this week in your environment. And if this has encouraged you, I would just ask that you help us out. Subscribe and share this and maybe make a comment of an area in your environment that you would like to change. And I will walk with you. I'll pray with you and pray for you. And I believe that our faith journey, our leadership journey, there's growth in our future as long as we are consistent and we create the environment around us that is going to influence and help us in that growth. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for continuing on this journey of unhindered faith, because I truly believe that we serve a God who is not hindered by our life situations. And that's why we can walk with unhindered faith. I'll see you next week.